Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode number 3 of Stop. Who Does That? This is our second headline highlights. On today's episode, we will be covering updates on the singer David, Anna Kepner's cause of death, missing Virginia high school football coach Travis Turner, and some recent updates on crowd favorite Luigi Mangione. As always, we will end our headline headlights episodes with a little Florida man or woman Google roulette. My name's Jackie.
And I'm Jenna.
And we hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday spent with your family and friends. I know I did. How about you, Jenna?
Yes, definitely. It was a nice long weekend. The kids and I watched a ton of Christmas movies, made some hot chocolate, cookies, and just had like a nice, relaxing holiday weekend. It was great.
That's exactly how I would characterize our Thanksgiving week. It was so nice to have that extra time with the kids while they had off this
Yeah,
week and
absolutely.
witness a little tree lighting.
I love
Yeah.
those. I love Christmas lights.
Me too. Well, Jenna, let's get into it. Tell us about the latest David update. I know a lot has been going on Instagram and social media. Was her body frozen? Was it not frozen? So what's going on?
Question, Jackie, was Celeste's body frozen? Was it not frozen? Big update in the d4vd case, otherwise known as David. We're just going to refer to him as David. According to the International Business Times, Los Angeles police have reportedly presented evidence to a grand jury linking rising singer David to the death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, whose body was discovered, if we remember, in the trunk of his abandoned Tesla in Hollywood earlier this year. Just to recap, her remains were discovered exactly on September 8th in a Hollywood tow yard, contained in a black bag inside David's abandoned Tesla. Authorities estimate that she had been deceased for several weeks before her body was found in the trunk of that Tesla. According to the LA Times, a source reported that the investigative panel began reviewing the case in mid-November, with prosecutors calling multiple witnesses to testify. According to two law enforcement sources, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office has been presenting evidence to an investigative grand jury. That's the big update in this case, the investigative grand jury. Such panels can subpoena witnesses. Like we just said, the prosecutors are calling multiple witnesses, so they can subpoena witnesses and documents, but they cannot indict. They
So
can
what does this
recommend.
mean? This means that
So they can recommend charges, which
Gotcha.
then the prosecutors would pursue charging. So this doesn't look good for David. This
No.
would be the first step into charging him and getting a trial going. That's what a grand jury does. So it seems like law enforcement is really protecting the details behind this case so that it can go to this grand jury completely unbiased, which I do think law enforcement has been doing a great job of holding things close. Like we said, there's been talk of her body being frozen. Was it not frozen? So the things that have come out, and the LAPD has not confirmed or denied really any of it. That's to keep this grand jury kind of unbiased. They don't know what to believe or not. And they will get the full details, just them, just the grand jury, when they convene. So in addition, LAPD Detective Joshua Byers has even successfully petitioned a judge to prevent the medical examiner from releasing autopsy details. Like we said,
Okay.
this is part of them keeping everything close and unbiased. We're not going to have a cause of death. They're not going to release the autopsy details. And that is to protect witnesses and the integrity of the investigation. As we know from other cases, that's very important to a fair and speedy trial compared to Brian Korberger, where a lot of those details were leaked immediately following the murders. And when the public knows everything, things get
Right.
spread like this frozen rumor. So they
I know. I was just thinking, where did that even come from if we're not even quite sure if that was true or not? I just felt like that didn't even feel right to have a body sitting in a trunk for probably months.
Yeah, in
And it was
Hollywood,
frozen the entire
California?
time
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, which has
Yeah.
hot desert sun. I mean, there's no way that body stayed frozen the entire time unless they put her body in the trunk closer to September or
I
it was,
It's
yeah,
we're not talking Alaska here. I
yeah.
don't know where that rumor came from. Maybe it's because they did allude to the fact that no cause of death could be determined from her
Mhm.
remains.
Right.
If that's true or not, they could just be saying that because they don't want to release that information. I would think if her body was frozen, they would be able to exactly know how she was murdered.
I think we heard her body was in like pieces. Was that? Or
Yeah,
am I losing my head? But
it was, like, deteriorating, and she had a tattoo on her index finger that said, "Shh," and that is
that
how they
identified her.
identified her, and that was intact. That wasn't decomposed yet, but we do know that other parts of her body were in active decomp, so,
Yeah. That
yeah,
makes it difficult.
I don't think she was frozen then, if that's the
Yeah. I
truth.
don't think so either.
Authorities are also tracing the movements of David and anyone who may have been involved in handling Celeste's body. Maybe he was the only one that put it in the trunk. Probably not. There could be others involved. He could have a handler. There could be
Mhm.
many other people who know the truth here. And I think those are the people who are going to be called to testify.
Absolutely. And it's important to point out that an attorney for David, who, by the way, his real name is David Anthony Burke, did not respond to a request for comment regarding these grand jury hearings. So they
That's
are
not
playing the
surprising.
silence game.
The grand jury will be advising whether charges should be brought through final decisions. This rests with the district attorney, Beth Silverman. Silverman did not immediately respond to a request for comment Wednesday. This district attorney's office said in a statement it could not disclose any information about grand jury proceedings, pretty much just like you said, David's attorney said. So
Mm.
David's attorney is not speaking and the district attorney is not speaking either. We'll definitely be updating everyone on as things ramp up. Once that grand jury convenes, I think things are really going to take off with this case on David.
I do
Yeah.
too. I
Yep.
wouldn't be surprised if an arrest is made soon.
Yeah, we will keep you all posted on that. And Jackie has our next headline highlight update on Anna Kepner. So, Jackie, what's going on with Anna? Has her family released any statements? Did they, say a cause of death? What's going on with her?
A lot has been transpiring since our last podcast, just last week, on
Hmm.
Anna Kepner. For those who don't know or need a reminder, she was the Florida high school student who was found murdered on board a Carnival cruise ship on November 7th. She was vacationing with her family, her father, her stepmother, and her two stepbrothers. As of right now, no one has been brought forth with an arrest. However, quite early on, we were hearing that the stepbrother was under investigation. They did release a cause of death, and that was strangulation, which can only happen as a result of homicide.
And the type of
Yeah.
strangulation, remember, it was the chokehold.
Yes. Yes, a chokehold. So we're not actually I should correct myself. It's not the only cause of death of strangulation is homicide. It could be suicide, but like you pointed out, it was a chokehold, which can only be done by another person.
Exactly.
We do have a statement from Kepner's aunt, Crystal Wright. She told Fox 35 Orlando this week that the family is in turmoil as the case was ruled a homicide. They did only learn from recent filings that the stepbrother is considered a suspect. So the Wright family is not. Sounds like they're getting information from the media. So it sounds to me like the family's not internally discussing this very closely. Anna's aunt, Crystal, she said she believes her niece would have tried to fight back. I know Anna fought. I know she fought for her life, so it is rough. Toxicology reports have come back that there were no drugs or alcohol in Anna's system at the time of death.
Yeah, because I know we talked about that last week, that could have been an issue that she could have been given alcohol or drugs, then
Her.
somebody could
Yeah.
have taken advantage of her. We
Right.
did talk about that and wondered if that played a part. in all of this, and now we know it did not.
Right, right. I mean, that doesn't mean maybe the perp didn't have drugs or alcohol in their
Right.
system. I do know that I think from our last episode, we were talking about how there was evidence that they were consuming alcohol on this cruise since they were in international waters. I know a lot of people feel like it's free game after age 18 on international waters, but we do also have a statement from her grandmother, Barbara Kepner. I would assume this is her father's mother. She was also on the cruise. She told ABC News that the cheerleader and stepbrother got along well and were like, quote, two peas in a pod. However, she claimed that the boy had, quote, demons in his past and was trying to deal with those.
Okay.
Sounds to me, this is just me reading between the lines, but maybe this boy had some conduct issues.
Yeah, I'd like to hear from his teachers at
Right.
school, what he was like at school and in the classroom. Was he troubled? Has he run into trouble before? Does he have a record? That we don't know because he's a minor,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure if charges are pressed, we will find out. The grandma is referring to when she says he had demons in the past.
Yeah, I would love to know. And remember from our headline highlights last week, Anna's ex-boyfriend had been on several FaceTime calls with her and
Mhm.
noticed that this stepbrother would climb on top of her and had somewhat of an unhealthy obsession with her.
Yes.
Sounds like there may have been an attraction there. And remember, siblings are not biological relatives, so this
Mhm.
could be very well a possibility.
Yep. And they're the same age, like we said last week. They probably shouldn't have been sharing a cabin,
Yep.
especially now that we know from the grandmother that he had a troubled past and,
Right.
youth growing up. So, according to that, I don't know if they really should have been sharing a room at all.
Well, you
She
called it earlier. You said it was inappropriate just
It's
to begin with.
totally
I
it's
mean,
totally inappropriate. She's a teenage girl sharing a room alone with two teenage stepbrothers. It's inappropriate, and B, that's like a recipe for disaster. And
right.
C,
With their
they're on
privacy.
vacation. It's not
Yeah.
their normal home environment. I just thought it was inappropriate from the start.
Well, it does seem like Anna's father's on board with this stepbrother being charged. He has come forward and said he wants charges to be brought forth if the stepbrother is found to be the perpetrator of this crime.
Good, as he should.
He should.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear somebody is stepping up for Anna, and it's her father, and he's doing the right thing.
I can only imagine that there were some conduct, mental health issues with the brother. Could be a
Ugh,
very troubled teen.
yeah.
So we definitely want to hold a little bit of respect there for the family. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, this didn't need to be the case.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll keep everybody updated as just like David, there's
Yeah.
going to be something coming out eventually. So we will definitely keep everyone updated.
So, Jenna, we
Mhm.
keep hearing about this Virginia high school football coach that suddenly went missing. It's
Yeah,
kind of rare for a grown man, a middle-aged man, let alone a football coach. He's probably a big guy to go missing. So, what's
yeah.
going on here?
Yeah, Jackie, in the middle of football season, nonetheless.
Yeah.
My older son plays football. I know how intense that season is, and the coaches are 101% dedicated to those kids the entire season. And his football team actually was going to the playoffs when Travis Turner disappeared. Virginia authorities have intensified their search for the Union High School head football coach, Travis Turner. Like we said, he vanished on November 1st. Investigators were prepared to question him in a child exploitation probe.
Ah, there you
He's
go.
He's 46 years old. He's married with kids of his own. Now he's the subject of 10 felony warrants.
10.
5
10, not one.
5 for possession of child
Wow.
pornography and 5 for using a computer to solicit a minor, which, Jackie, we talked about this case offline and we thought that perhaps he solicited an undercover cop. And that's what busted
Mhm.
this open because it kind of just came on suddenly. And if he was using his computer for solicitation, that is the number one guess as to why cops went for him with his
Right, they
arrest
can
warrant.
trace him by his important to note that at the time of his disappearance, they had not issued these warrants. These came on Monday, publicly announced Tuesday, so this past week.
So I think that he got wind of the warrants being issued.
Gotcha.
You're exactly right. They were
Gotcha.
officially announced after he was reported missing. I think he was tipped off by someone that
Gotcha.
the police are coming for you. And he immediately just went MIA. Like we said, he was in the middle of his football season. They were about to go to playoffs. You don't just up and
Right.
disappear. They said that he was last seen walking into the woods behind his home wearing a gray hoodie, gray sweatpants, and carrying a rifle, and has not been seen since.
Oh, that
And
doesn't sound good.
no, it doesn't. He walked into the woods and never came out. So again, if we had to pick a theory, Jackie and I both agree that he probably went into the woods to commit suicide with the rifle. What
I
else?
mean, that's kind of what it sounds to me like. However, it's kind of weird they haven't found a body yet, especially when we know where he was walking.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
That's just where I
Unless
hesitate.
Yeah, unless the police are just not really seeing that information yet, I'm not sure.
True.
He wasn't going hunting in a gray hoodie and gray sweatpants. Also, his season, this is affecting his own family, but also the kids on his football team, which are about to
Mhm.
go to the playoffs. These kids still had to play football, go to the game. The assistant football coach, Jay Edwards, stepped up
Mhm.
to help the Bears win their playoff football games that
Yep.
weekend and the following week.
They were able to kinda separate it in their mind and play to the best of their ability, even
Yeah,
though
and
their
props
head
to
coach is
Jay
gone.
Edwards for keeping a level head
Right.
during all of this and taking that responsibility for these kids. Very grateful for him to step forward like that. Everyone at Union High School is being affected by this because Travis Turner did teach special needs at the high school. So the students at the high school, the players on the football team, and Travis's family are all being directly affected by this
Mhm.
disappearance. And speaking of his family, his wife, Leslie Caldwell Turner, addressed questions from the media on November 25th when being asked about Travis's disappearance. She stated,
Mhm.
quote, "None of that is true," she told the Daily Mail. Quote, "He's a good dad and a good husband, and we want him home. That's it." Quote. Leslie added, "I don't know anything. I don't know anything. I'm sorry." In the latest breaking news that we learned today, Leslie quietly deleted all of her social media.
Mm.
So she scrubbed her online presence. It's all been deleted.
Wow.
It's all gone. As you know, I would probably do the same thing if I was in her position. Her husband's missing, and her husband has 10 arrest warrants out on child pornography and
Right.
soliciting minors. I think it's best that she keeps a low profile right now. We
I
just
agree.
pray
She's
for
probably
her.
getting flooded with media, her deleting her social media. It came right after they issued the warrants for his arrest with the child pornography charges. So I
Yeah,
imagine she is just devastated
yeah, and
because
his
now they're probably
children.
showing her some proof
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
this is what's been going on. And
And they're a huge
yeah,
presence in their local community. He's the high school football coach.
I know.
It wasn't a huge high school. I read it was a high school of about 650 students, but it's a small town community
And
in
everybody probably
Virginia.
talks. Yeah.
Yes. It's going to be very hard on her, and we pray for her and her family
Oh
during
my
this
gosh.
time.
Yes.
And their children, they have children, 3 children, and it's
Oh,
just awful. I do want to mention that Virginia authorities are urging anyone with information to contact Virginia State Police Division 4 at 276-484-9483 or email questions at vsp.virginia.gov. if you have any information. And we'll continue to update everyone on this. This is an ever changing story going on right now. Um,
Absolutely.
yep.
Thanks for the update, Jenna.
Yep. And we do have a one more update, Jackie, if you want to tell us about crowd favorite 27-year-old Luigi
Luigi Mangione.
Mangione.
Oh, I was just thinking it was a year ago this week that this occurred where he killed the United Healthcare
Wow, a year ago already. Yeah, I
City.
that's
Thoughts and prayers go out to that poor man's family. I mean, oh my gosh, this will be their second Christmas without him.
yeah.
No matter no matter feel about this whole situation from a political standpoint, this was still an innocent person who was gunned down on the street. So I just want us
Absolutely.
to be aware of that and never to forget that. Oddly enough, I have a mom friend who worked for United Healthcare years ago. She actually
Wow.
met him.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Wow.
yeah, she met him and had nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had a little I think it
Mhm.
was one of those, like, breakout sessions that you
Yeah.
have during a meeting.
Wow.
Yeah, but, Brian Thompson, we definitely want to say his name and never forget him
Mhm.
while we're
Mhm.
giving this
Mhm.
update.
Yes.
So, Luigi is back in court today. His attorney, Karen Friedman Agnifilo, she has asked Judge Gregory Caro to prevent the prosecution from showing the contents of Luigi's writings at the hearing, saying that they could taint the jury pool. She objected to the prosecution's use of the term manifesto, calling it prejudicial, invented law enforcement label. She also pointed out that police did not seek a search warrant for his bag until later that evening after his arrest, about 7 hours after they first opened the backpack.
Wow.
Additionally, and this blew my mind, Jenna, Luigi was read his Miranda warnings 20 minutes after he was first approached by the officers, according to his attorney. After that, he exercised his right to remain silent. So I would imagine any comments or statements that he made in that first 20 minutes, they're going to seek to exclude
Yeah,
from
that sounds highly illegal, and
yeah,
I think they are within their rights to be requesting this and having that hearing this morning. I mean, that's that in any case, he's a very public case, but the same thing holds true for any other case. You have to be read your Miranda
yeah.
rights as immediately as you are
Isn't that
arrested.
law enforcement 101? I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
I don't know.
we know it.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think that was a huge issue, a huge failing. And I feel like Luigi is so intelligent. That's probably the first thing he noticed and made sure his attorney was aware. They didn't
Yeah.
read me my rights for the first 20 minutes.
Yep.
And I didn't get my search warrant until later after they searched my bag. So he's intelligent enough to like piece together this timeline and he knows enough probably to tell her we need to look into this further.
Mhm.
I mean, can you imagine a lot of other criminals who are not Ivy League educated like he is that wouldn't know
Exactly.
what the sequence of events should be?
Oh, yeah. And this is the big turning point for the case as well, because like you said, anything he said in those first 20 minutes, I mean, you can't use it.
Right, and I'm wondering if they're gonna be able to throw out his notebook. I believe this is
Yeah.
the notebook that had some ratings about how he felt about healthcare in
Yeah.
America and
That's the one. Yeah.
yeah, so, I mean, that I don't know, if I were on the jury, I mean, that would be crucial in pointing out what his motivations were for it at least. However, the article did state that they did find his DNA from evidence retrieved at the scene of the crime. So they
Mhm.
do have DNA tagging him to the scene of the crime. This notebook would be more, I guess, painting more of a picture on, you know, this is why he did it, and this was the motivation, which is pretty much the narrative that
Yeah.
the media has right now is he was this vigilante seeking justice for United Healthcare, declining treatment for a lot of people. So
Mhm.
I don't know that it's going to do much for them, but I'm with you. I think it's perfectly agreeable that they would be looking to have this thrown out, especially given the timing of when they got the warrant and read his Miranda rights.
Yeah. And we'll continue to look for updates on this case as well. This was a big, big update in Luigi Mangione's case. So definitely there will be more coming. This has been the biggest one in a long time for him.
Absolutely. We will keep you posted.
Mhm.
The hearing's probably going on right now or
Yep.
sometime this afternoon today. But we
Yep.
will definitely keep you posted on our Instagram. We like to follow up with any
Mhm.
updates from anything that we cover in today's episode on our Instagram. Jenna, what's our handle?
It's at Stop Who Does That podcast.
Right. We are also on TikTok. We also are on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
App-
Yep. And Spotify.
Wherever you get your streaming platforms, we're on all of them. And we really appreciate everybody's support as we wrap up here.
For our listeners, if there are any cases that you'd want us to cover on a deep dive, headline highlights, or you just want to give us some feedback, we are always open to feedback as long as it is kind and respectful and helpful as well. As you know, we are self-funding this or editing. I'm learning how to edit podcasts, so we are always open to any suggestions. You can email us at stopwhodosthatpodcast@gmail.com. That's stop who does that podcast, all one word, at gmail.com.
Thanks,
And
Jackie.
now it's time for Florida Man Woman Google Roulette.
Yay! I can't wait.
So if you haven't listened to our first episode of Headline Highlights, what we do is we Google Florida man or Florida woman with a date that Jenna picks out. And then we pick a headline and we read it and react to it in real time. Give me a second while I share my screen.
You never know what we're going to pull up because there's a lot going on down there in Florida and you just never.
All right. I think today should we do a Florida woman?
Let's be fair. Let's do a Florida woman.
Let's do Florida one. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Yep.
Hey, Jenna, what's the date?
Okay, I'm thinking of a date. And the date that's coming first into my mind is June 11th.
All right. What do we have here?
What do we have?
Oh my gosh, Florida, you're just the gift that keeps on giving. Look at this.
Oh my God.
Up. A 21-year-old Florida woman became enraged during an argument and squeezed her boyfriend's genitals to the point of bleeding.
My God.
Jenna,
well,
I don't even have to look at the
charged.
rest. Okay, let's see. This happened June 11th, 2019.
So
wow.
pretty recent.
Pretty recent. All right.
Right.
Squeezing. All right. Oh, well, that's what she looks like. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, she reminds me of Janelle from Teen Mom.
Kristen Stewart. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. She's giving
yeah.
Janelle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Janelle
She's
vibe.
definitely giving Janelle from Teen Mom. Yeah.
Let's see if we can read more about this situation. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
All right. Katie Lee Pitchford was charged with domestic battery and violation of probation after Indian Harbor Beach police were called to a home on the 800 block of Veronica Court to investigate a disturbance. Pitchford remains held without bond at Brevard County Jail Complex, court records show. The Brevard County judge also ordered her to have no contact with the victim or return to his home without being accompanied by police to retrieve her belongings. Indian Harbor police arrived at the home June 4th and found Pitchford's boyfriend with a bruised eye and blood running down the left side of his face. The man told officers the attack came after a fight between the pair. The man said Pitchford first beat him with a brush, then punched and scratched him. She then grabbed her boyfriend by the throat until he could not breathe. He struggled before getting away and calling for help. Pitchford was led into a patrol car where she asked officers if she could talk to her boyfriend because she wanted to say she was sorry. Wow. The unidentified man told the officers that she grabbed him by his scrotum and squeezed them until they were bleeding.
hey, well, she's something else.
I don't know. Wait, hold on. The scrotum. I mean, what? I didn't know you could squeeze them so hard they bleed. I didn't.
Maybe she does. Maybe this isn't her first time.
I know you can have, a blood flow issue in the scrotum. It could get cut off and then, you need emergency surgery because we don't want the scrotum to become necrotic. But I didn't know you you could squeeze them to the point that they bleed. That just,
Oh my God.
wow, I can't. Unless she dug her nails in and it started bleeding.
Maybe. I mean, that's definitely going to violate
Yeah.
your parole. That wasn't a good choice for her that day.
You know what, though? Let's not blame her for a second. Let's think about what he probably did leading up to it. Let's be
There's
real.
two
Some guys
sides.
can really some guys can really pull the crazy out of us. I bet you she
Yeah.
was going through his phone and found something out. That really sounds like a woman wrong to me.
It really does. She sounds like she found something or heard something she didn't like and she was coming for him. They probably had multiple domestics at that address. So police are probably
Yeah.
very familiar with Katie at this point.
I know. And since it was 2019, I really hope she has gotten away from him. They're no longer together. It sounds like a very toxic situation to me.
Yeah, that would be best.
Yeah. She was 21 at the time. Let's hope she's moved on with her life, found a new career, moved away, what have you. But yeah, it just goes to show Florida is the gift that keeps on giving when it comes to headlines. I
Well, we
mean,
did Florida Woman this time, and that's surely what we got. So I hope everyone enjoyed that. Our Florida Woman roulette Google search today. We love doing it. And as always, thank you for listening to Stop Who Does That. We will be continuing to bring you breaking headline highlights as well as deep dives, which we do have one coming out this Friday that Jackie and I are working very hard on. And you guys are going to love it.
you are going to love it.
It's very twisted and very shocking.
Yeah, we got a treat coming for you later this week.
Yep.
And again, as always, if there's a case you'd like us to do a deep dive on, we are open to suggestions, especially if it's something from your hometown and no one's really covering it. And you want to get that visibility and get the word out about the case. Like I said, stopwhodoesthatpodcast@gmail.com. Send us an email and you can find us on all the socials.
Yep.
Again, thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great week and we'll see you again soon. Bye.